and curiosity to want to see what is beyond the mind. That was where Mariam was and is. What is beyond the mind? So she tapped into us. She comes up to us because that's where we are. Your frequency is impacted by resistance because of the mind. So you somehow must find a way, if you want to explore something beyond the mind, find a way to tap into a higher frequency. And it's been happening all throughout the history. That the human race have been wanting to see what is outside of time, space, reality to some extent. And that's where the juice of creation is, beyond the mind.
Wow, okay. So how did these two, whether you call them races, is that the right way to describe it? These two races, the human beings and these light beings, they decided to co-create on the pyramids. How did it then physically manifest as what we see today, and perhaps it was different when it was originally created? How did it actually come together? Whether, we hear theories from modern archaeologists who say they were using copper chisels and hammers and pulling blocks on timber, like timber tree stumps and things like this with ropes, which to me sounds ludicrous given the weight and size of these things. But what's your perspective of that unfolding as to how it unfolded?
So tell us a bit more. What do you want to know?
Well, how like when we look at the pyramids right now, like the main pyramid of Giza, for instance, we know so much about its height, its dimensions, and in fact, there's a lot of mathematics when studied, which would indicate there's a lot of advanced knowledge built into these things, into its foundation, and the precision with which it was built, and the way the pyramids were oriented to the sun and the planets and all of these different things. There's clearly advanced things happening that, to our perception of what we've been told about human beings at the time, and perhaps it was built before the time that modern archaeology suggests, that to me, as a common sense would say, oh, well, I don't know how people with chisels, hammers, ropes and tree stumps could pull big blocks and assemble this massive thing with such precision and technology that appears to be built into this thing. So what I'm looking for is an explanation that conveys it in a way that seems like this is how it could have happened, as opposed to the ridiculous, modern archaeologists, the ridiculous suggestion that it was ropes and tree stumps and copper chisels.
Well, it is ridiculous, but because that's what they can comprehend. If you would go back to what we just said, within the mind, that's what they can comprehend. So that's what they are drawn to, that this is it. But what we are saying is it was a co-creation between the two races, the human race and the beings of light. Now, the assembly, that's our understanding of what you're asking, was done in that co-creative manner as well. So you're right to question what is being said, because what is being said is within the boundaries of the mind. But what was done was beyond the mind. So it was done in collaboration. Now, how it was assembled involved the two races.
Okay.
So the beings of light helped the human race accomplishing it by providing ideas about the structure.
Mm-hmm.
So the tools aren't here because you're not a vibrational match to what the tools were, because you're operating from the human mind. You can only see the tools that you can translate. But the tools that they were given was that frequency. And they were able to translate it. That's why you see the work, you can't make sense of it. Because you can't make sense of the tools that were used vibrationally.
Right.
And we appreciate your understanding because it is beyond what the mind can perceive as part of your reality experience. So it surely was beyond the tools that you can perceive.
Right. Okay.
And it was done in collaboration and agreement.
Sure. Okay.